You should be his caddy, Cam.
Honestly, me and Higgs would get along great. I think it'd actually get dangerous at night with me and Higgs at the bar, but I'm a big fan of his work. I like that. You said it. Nobody chips it more than Harry Higgs.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Fantasy. Use code MAYO at Underdog Fantasy right now and get yourself a deposit bonus of up to $200. Additionally, if you use code MAYO at Underdog Fantasy, you get in the draw to split 5% of Tambo's winnings at the Fantasy Golf Championships in Detroit in 2 weeks' time. First prize is $1 million, which means 5% could be $50K. So you may as well try to get your name into that draw to see if you can get cut in with a piece. The other way to get into the draw for win Tambo's money. He's like the new Ben Stein. You can subscribe, rate, and review, and hell, share the show around, retweet the tweets, tell some friends about the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. You do all that stuff on Apple, that's 10 ballots in the draw. You do it on Spotify, that's another 10 ballots in the draw. So please go support us right now and go do that. The free newsletter is down in the description, Substack on Mayo Media, where all of the information, more news, all the show links are gonna be. Cam Stewart, Byron Lindeque on the line with me right now. Are you excited for the U.S. Open, Cam?
Sure I am, Pat, because when I hear the first thing, Getty player says, the greens are too tough. It's a major. Remember the 500 push-ups and bacon? Hey, Gary, it's Monday. Like, relax, pal. Just relax. U.S. Opens are supposed to be tough. I remember when Retief Goosen won, nobody could keep it on the green. Can't we have a tournament where a guy actually wins like 4 under in a major? Like, this is what the U.S. Open's about. It's supposed to be hard on the players. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk. So you know what, everybody? Relax. If it gets too out of control, we'll water the greens. Love Pinehurst #2. Happy to be with you guys. And Pat, just a shout out again on the thumbnails, man. Like the one with the Golden Girls made me piss my pants, but the A-team one with us was just strong as well. And I've always thought this, you and Morency, I've never seen you guys not have your head fit a gift. Like me, I'm kind of like, not perfect, weird. It fits a couple, you know what I mean? If I'm like a big fat guy or something with a cigar, but I don't know, you have that face that fits every single time we do memes and gifs. It's unbelievable.
As someone once pointed out to me, that I suffer from generic white guy face, so it really helps when trying to Photoshop things.
Hey, it's good when you're a serial killer and in Photoshop. But you're right, Pat. Like, I don't know what it is about the shape of your face. Gabe's the same way. Like every time we put him in something, I'm like, wow, it looks perfect. Not me.
Byron, Cust claimed that the winning score would be well into the double digits. Do you concur?
I don't know, because he went with Scottie Scheffler, and that's the only person that can do that.
So
I'm going to say no, Pat. I think the winning score, I'm thinking is going to be around 6 to 8. I actually think it's going to be, 2 under a round seems pretty good to me on a course like this. They can make it really bad if they want, they can have a couple guys like under par to win, barely under par to win the golf tournament, but they're not going to make it that difficult. But I don't see this being like minus 12, 14. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's going to be a tough test of golf.
Well, the last 3 U.S. Opens at Pinehurst have a combined 4 players who finished under par. So, I mean, Keimer almost got to double digits. He finished at 9 under, and just the next closest guy was 1 under, and that was Eric Straight out of Compton, and Ricky Fowler tied that year. So 3 of them came last time around. I'm excited to see the test. I hope it's difficult, but I don't want it to be unfair at the same time. Do you have a skill set, Byron, that you're really looking at? Because we're doing the placements, the head-to-heads today for the best bets for the U.S. Open. Is there anything in the back of your mind that just said, hey, every bet that I'm going to make, why don't I just pull that money and bet on Scottie Scheffler?
Well, I'll be getting to the Scottie Scheffler bet here at some point. I have a bet him as a gold pick, but it's not what you think it's going to be, and it's something that I think people need to start getting on board with, because I think this is the world we want to be in, and it's the world that you need to be betting Scottie. So we got to get exposure to him in one way or another, and I'm kind of curious as to what your thoughts are on betting Scottie Scheffler with a +3 lead to win by 3. At roughly plus 550, plus 600. I think, what are the chances of Scottie winning by 3 versus Scottie winning twice? So I'm kind of, it's really interesting to see who comes up with the best way to bet Scottie Scheffler going forward. And if someone comes up with an idea to bet him, and then he stops playing as good a golf as he is. So golf is fun. I don't know where we're going. Let's see what happens.
Cam, do you think that Byron's gold pick is going to be Scottie Scheffler to miss the cut at 12-1?
I wish, honestly, I would love it to happen, but it's not going to happen. We're experiencing greatness. But Pat, I'm going to say this, and I think you guys might agree. The U.S. Open's a different test of golf, though. Scottie Scheffler murders guys on regular tracks. This is the thing. What is his weakness to his game? Inconsistent putting. And that's one thing that can happen at a U.S. Open. So if there's any type of course where I think he can't run away with it, he has the check marks for patience because par's good in a U.S. Open, but that's the one thing. There's going to be a lot of roll-offs. His wedge play is great, but if his putter's kind of mediocre, it could bring some other guys in the mix. Betting against Scottie Scheffler is usually just stupid. Hit me over the head with a stick. But in this type of tournament in the major, I don't think it's as runaway as other tournaments on the regular field. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I think there's a lot of guys who play a patience game that could be there at the top of the leaderboard. And I don't think it's going to be a runaway for Scheffler. And I need more odds, Pat. But, we say this every week, and I feel like a stooge.
That becomes the thing. Once it starts happening over and over and over again, and we're taking guys, 70-1, 50-1, and they're just getting beat by the guy who was very clearly the obvious favorite the entire time. And the worst part is, Byron, everything that I've comped it to, looking at this course, trying to figure out which skills play the best, it almost feels like there's no better course for Scottie Scheffler.
I was watching the Martin Keimer, highlights, and I was like, God damn it, this is literally what Scottie Scheffler looks like if he was German. This is where it's going. It's crisp, it's clean, it's in control. And, the putting thing, Scottie's been holding some longer putts, and he's going to be just middle of the green, birdie. He's going to roll in 3 birdies around kind of thing from 15, 20 feet and shoot 67 4 times in a row kind of thing. And then Cust's going to have his way. But I didn't see myself saying that on this show, but I have not slept tonight. So here we go. But I'm looking forward to Scottie Scheffler. I'm really looking forward to him just dominating and then finding someone that can just show up and try and kick his ass somehow.
Well, that became the thing with some of my outrights, and we'll get to that at the end, that I didn't want to play the placements on the certain guys. I wanted to juice up their number a little bit more. I was like, I need to have the top 8 equity here to salvage my week if they end up doing pretty well. So let's get into the gold picks. Kick this off at the U.S. Open. I'll go first. I didn't bet this guy to win because why would you? And I took kind of the coward's way out. I was thinking about a top 5. I was thinking about a top 10, but it's still 3-1 to come inside the top 20, Cam. I'm going to give you, for your approval, submitted for your approval, Tommy Fleetwood, top 20.
Got no problem with Fleetwood, actually. I think he's going to have a good week. This is the type of course, too. Tommy, what's he good with wedge? You can get that putter going. He's been playing decently, I guess. The only issue I have with Fleetwood, Pat, there's no guy that pisses you off actually more than Tom Hoagie when he's a lock to be inside the top 5. And then you look T21 because he shot a 76 and you're sitting there on Sunday wanting to put a hole through your TV. And he does it a lot. That's the only issue I have with Fleetwood is one loose round. But I love the pick. And at 3-1 for a top 20, he checks all the boxes. So I like Tommy Fleetwood. It's funny you mentioned that, Pat. Foreshadowing. I have another Brit in my top 20. Not as good as 3-1, but a guy we've taken before that I think will do very well this week.
Well, Byron, do you think, just even looking at it and seeing how the course plays a little bit, and this is brought to my attention throughout the course of the week because we've been trying to comp like Sawgrass or different places around the green. Most of that my doing of just kind of seeing a lot of similar names near the top. Do you think that Keimer ran away with this, although he was, I think, the only Euro who was up there. Do you think that there's some sort of link to some of the Middle Eastern tournaments, anything like that, where it's a bit of, because this is sand, like there's sand underneath everything here. There's sand, there's no rough. It's just completely off the fairway. You're going to be in the wire grass area, which is essentially sand, and you hope you draw a good lie. That having some experience with sandy courses, do you think that's any sort of relevant this week, or is that just me trying to grasp at straws?
I don't know, Pat, because this is the one tournament that you can't use US Open PGA Championship comps because it's not the same kind of a venue. Do you want to use an Open Championship as a comp? I know St. Andrews was mentioned by you and Keith. Thought about that myself too before I watched the show, and it kind of makes sense, but just getting up and down for birdie versus getting up and down for par. I don't think St. Andrews was as diabolical as we'll expect this week, but it's I think you just got to try and find a guy that you think can hang, who's got that mental resilience. I don't think I'm trying to match courses. I'm trying to match brains this week.
I see. I like that angle, and that's kind of what I did with my bets. I identified 4 guys. I have 4 bets in Cam in the outright market, and it was, can these guys be around long enough that if Scottie gets a bad lie and ends up making triple, like he did this weekend, it still didn't matter. He still ended up winning. But if he gets some bad luck along the way, or the putter falters over the weekend, something like that, do I have the right guys to be in the mix, that they have the one skill that can kind of trump everything? And I think that I've identified those 4 guys. Whether they win or not, I have no idea. They might all miss the cut for all I know, with the way my picks have been going for about the past 6 weeks now. But that was sort of the angle that I took. Like, if these guys hit their upside, can they win? And I've identified that as yes. Whether I'm right or wrong, we'll wait and see.
I think you're right. I'm going to tell you something, Pat. I've had the second place golfer like 5 of the last 6 weeks. Like, I'm there too. And the thing is, Scheffler's not running away with these tournaments, but when he's leading, you got to be almost like your guy taking the lead and then come back to Scheffler. Like, remember that one week when Scheffler was 11-1 and every smart guy cashed in? You're never going to get that again. The books got hammered and they realized, God, it doesn't matter how many strokes this guy's back. He's going to put something special together, and we're going to get absolutely fucked at the end of the tournament when everyone bets him at 11-1, let alone plus 280. But the thing I do think your point about sand courses is legitimate. Byron knows these European guys play more of that style of golf. Scheffler, these guys play in North America. Like Cam Smith, what about Aussies on the sand type of courses? What about South Africans on these type of courses? So I do think it matters a little bit. Scheffler's a different breed because he's a fucking cyborg that golfs, and like literally I can hit him with a car and he'd go, do you need anything, sir? Can I help you? Like, he'd want to give me money instead of me. Like, he doesn't, like, he's unbelievable, this guy. Does he have a heartbeat? That's the whole thing about Scheffler. I don't know what rattles him, and that's a great, great way to be for golf. But I'm going to tell you this, I don't see him running away with this golf tournament. I think there's a lot of guys who play on live, who are Europeans. I think Europeans and South Africans are going to do very, very fine this week. Australians, guys who play on these type of courses. That's my take, but man, I've been wrong before. And you don't want to get in front of Scheffler, but I don't think it's going to be a one-horse race.
So Cam is picking Ryan Fox, I think, to win the U.S. Open. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, no, I'm not picking Ryan Fox, but I do have a gold pick, Pat. If you want to hear craziness, or do you want to? Or
yeah, let's hear it.
Let's go with my boy. What favorite band of the '80s? Meester. Dean Burmester, top South African, plus 160. I love Dean Burmester for a top 20 and 30 this week. I think he does have the game to linger, and he's a guy that I've always followed in his golf career. I think he's one of those guys who's sneaky this week. Don't be surprised if you see him on page 1 or 2. Asking him to win might be a little bit of stretch at 110-1, but I'm going to take Burmester, top South African. He's got to be EVR and a couple other guys, plus 160.
I like Bez Byron as top South African this week.
What is Bez's odds for that? I'm not certain, but yes. He's paying
20, I think he's right at, like, I think it was pretty close. Like, those guys were there, and then I don't know, like, there's 4 or 5 of them in the mix, right? I just love, I think Burmester's playing well on live. He's done some damage like this year. Hey, I'm a big Christian Bezoutnow guy. He's starting to turn his game around. He was on page 1 of the leaderboard last week, Pat. Problem with me and him is every time I take him, he's nowhere, and I leave him out and he's kind of there. I don't know how he's going to do this week, but I can tell you one thing. I like Burmester the best out of all those guys, and I think it's a pretty good bet at plus money.
Yeah, I listen, he's plus 160. Bez is plus 180 in that market. There's only 2 others, Byron. It's EVR. EVR is plus 250, so 2.5-1. And someone named Casey Jarvis is 9-1 in the South African market. That's one thing I do love. Yeah, it's your best friend.
I think he's the winner for the Carolina Hurricanes. But anyway, Pat, yeah, I don't know too much about this Jarvis guy, but yeah, I love both guys. I don't know how you guys feel about EVR, but I looked at that market and I go, Burmester's my guy. It's plus money. And yeah, I'm really only worried about Bez, to be honest with you.
I guess my kind of takeaway, it depends on obviously how the course ends up playing, which we're not from the future. We're not future people. We don't know that if this is going to be a grind it out type of thing, Byron. I like Bez in that scenario, but I won't deny that Burmester most definitely has the higher upside. Yet when it comes to chipping and putting, we talk about, could Scottie falter a little bit? It's almost a certainty that Burmester is going to miss a wide collection of putts.
Facts. And going back to EVR as well, I don't like him on difficult courses. You want wide fairways, lots of birdies, so just a fade for him there.
Well, yeah. These fairways are pretty wide. They're some of the widest they're going to see all year.
I don't know if they're wide enough for EVR this week.
Yeah, he does spray it hard, but I like the guy. Seems like a good fella.
Yeah, so when you start to think, Byron, about a very high driving accuracy percentage at this course, around 71%, but a very low greens and regulation percentage at around 55%, which is exactly what this course demands, where if you do not get it to the right level, again, another notch in the belt of Scottie Scheffler, who has the best distance control of anyone ever with irons, it seems, at least since peak Tiger, from what we've seen, that he's just probably going to hit an abnormal amount of them, but everyone else is just probably going to miss. So I think you kind of have to rely on short game. Now, it's all about where you miss a lot of the times too, where if you're on the left-hand side, it's an easy up and down. If you miss on the right-hand side or get buried in one of these bunkers, you're going to make a 7 on a par 4 all of a sudden. So there is a lot of strategy that goes into it. So do you think that we want to look at better short game players here, or more strategic players who, if they're going to miss properly?
I think a bit of both. It's there's no reason to not have either, but I'd definitely probably lean into you can try and miss in the right spot, but the chances your ball lands up where you want it to maybe isn't going to be there, and then you need to be having the magic beans. So I'd probably lean magic beans over mental capacity there, but if you can find someone with both, which we've got some guys that we like this week, and I think they have that. So being able to just scramble and kind of get yourself out of jail like Scottie did last time, and I think we're looking good. So it's going to be fascinating. I'm waiting to just see guys chipping in for eagle, like left, right, and center all the time.
Don't you want a guy who's like basically guys like docile and doesn't get rattled?
Yeah.
That's what I look like in a US Open. I want a guy that is not emotional, like the opposite of me. You want the Retief Goosens of the world who has won in the courses, like, you know what I mean? Like the Martin Keimer's pretty chill. Scottie Scheffler's flatlining all the time. You can put a blow dart in his neck and he just sit there, just take it out and eagle the hole. The guy's unreal. Like, Pat, I was starting to think like we need to pull a Happy Gilmore on this guy, like with Joe Flaherty in the car, or get the guy with the nail at the, like, hey, I'll meet you at the Sizzler shooter. Like, I don't know how we're going to, I don't know how to stop this guy. And what the crazy thing is, I know people are like talking about Tiger Woods in his prime. Let's remember one thing. I know this guy's young in his career and we still have to look about the footwork and is that going to work when he gets older? But he's beating guys at this level, in my opinion. How many guys in a PGA tournament can win, in your opinion, guys? 50, 60? When Tiger played, I think it was probably around, what do you think, 30? And when Jack played, it was a handful of, I'm just saying the bad guys now are better than the chumps that played back then. And that's fact. The fields are tougher and stuff. So what Scheffler's doing now, historically, to me, is crazy. Like, it's even like, people are like, no, I'm not trying to make a Tiger Woods comparison or anything, but guys, like, this shit is nuts, what he's doing right now. It's crazy. There's great golfers out there. Like, it's amazing.
Now, do you think that's just rose-colored glasses about the era that we're in? Because we just saw, Scheffler reels off 5 wins the moment 7 of the top players in the world go to live, so they're not competing against those guys.
Fair enough.
On a regular basis. And because Tiger was so dominant in his prime, and Phil was probably, a top 10 golfer of all time, VJ is probably right around there as well. All 3 of those guys were playing at the same time. And then you throw in Ernie and Goosen, like kind of the next level down of those sorts of players, and Duval had his run as well. So you have 6 guys right there that are all-timers in terms of what their peak was going to be. Did they just outclass everyone? Like, were those guys so much better than everyone else that it made the other guys just seem the Joe Durants of the world seem a lot worse?
Well, there's 2 things going on here, right? Because you got the technology aspect, which back in the day, they didn't have the big driver heads, and the best golfers separated themselves much easier than the current landscape we're in right now. But the biggest variable, excuse me, is the mallet putter. I feel like the moment he went to that, it just changed the whole dynamic. And I was taking a peek at his past wins, and I think 3 of the 5 he won by at least 3 strokes, and then the other 2 he would have won by 3 strokes plus had one other person not been there. So like, it's literally just one dude that's kind of hanging out around him. It's not like he's fending off the world, and it's just separation city for Scottie right now. And it's scary. It's weird. It's a world I don't want to live in, but it's a world I'm kind of going to join him in. And I've got a gold bet for Scottie Scheffler, -190 for a top freaking 10. And I've been betting this bet all year, Pat, and I'm betting it to win my entire outright stake. So I'm hedging against Scottie Scheffler, essentially. So whatever you're betting to win, bet to return that in your top 10 market for Scottie Scheffler at minus 190, minus 220, wherever you can find that market. This guy is doing it at a ridiculous clip. 84% of the time he's finishing inside the top 10. He's returning you $1,229 to win 100 in that market per bet. So this dude is just a top 10 machine. He's a printing money factory, and it's my way of hedging out of the Scottie Scheffler outrights with also doing, I've been doing like three places each way. So a little bit more like tight and a bit bigger of a payout with better outright odds as well, just in case my guy does sneak through. But I feel like that's also a nice way to, if you finish second or third to Scottie, you're still getting a bit of cash there.
Cam, Scottie Scheffler has a top 10 in 14 of his past 15 starts.
Okay. See, Pat, and you guys are smart. So here's the thing. Tiger Woods won, but did he do that? Like, didn't once in a while he have a bad tournament? Like, maybe I'm like old and I smoke too many doobs, or I'm just trying to think, like, how does this compare? Right? Like with majors, Tiger. He also beat Chris DeMarco, Rocco Mediate on one leg, Bob May, who's the journeyman of the millennium. Like, you know what I mean? And I hate to sound like I'm an underdog guy. I know like the stories are great when the favorite wins, but Pat, I don't know how to break this down. Like historically with Scheffler, it's very, he's just into his career, but I don't know, man. Can I say underrated? Like, is that even fair? Like, I don't think they talk about, because when Tiger Woods was doing it, that was like main stories, whatever. Like Scheffler's a main story, but in the golfing world, like this is like Federer-esque, Nadal, Djokovic. Like I don't think he's actually getting the love he deserves. Maybe I'm nuts, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. But what he's doing is historic.
Well,
That's kind of what I'm saying.
There's a reason for that, though.
Okay.
He has fewer majors than Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy,
Yep.
Brooks Koepka. He has the same as DJ and Rahm.
Mm-hmm.
He has the same as Zach Johnson. He needs to get more majors. And you know, you can win all the memorials you want. You can win all the players' championships that you want. When you're going to jump up to that level, like think about how much differently we think about Brooks now that he got the fifth instead of fourth. That it seems to elevate him to a new tier. And 4 was going to be good enough because he already had himself established as, you know, he's like the cusp of the real golf world. He's the big game hunter. But until you start piling up all these major championships, it'd be like, yeah, that's great and everything. Think about Phil for all those years. I mean, you lived through the prime Phil years. The dude had like 40 wins, and people were like, yeah, he kind of sucks.
It also sucks that he had to deal with Tiger Woods and you know, all the other times he finished second, like him and Al's battling. But that's life.
Vijay Singh.
Yeah, VJ, good call. Okay, over under right now, guys. Majors for Scheffler. What would you put the number at?
4.5.
Yeah. 5 Augusta green jackets for Scottie.
No, like seriously, Pat. Like what's his over under his career for majors right now?
I just told
11
you.
and a half.
No, I'm gonna say 4.5. It's hard to.
You know what, Pat?
You know what? If you had sat here 10 years ago and gave me an over under on Rory majors, what would it have been? 12.5.
I don't know. Rory's different. Anyway,
was Rory different? He had just won his 4th major championship by like 23.
Scheffler's got a different mindset. Anyway, cut my mic. I got to go to the Brinks truck, and I'll come back. And you want to give me 4.5? Pat, I'll take a second friggin' fucking mortgage in my life. He's winning more than 5 majors.
I think that people forget that guys go on runs and they hit their peak. He is playing at his peak right now, and then it kind of flips for a lot of guys. And I'm not saying he's going to be bad. He is constantly going to be in the mix, but he's had plenty of chances at other ones. I know. I've backed him at a couple of those ones, like the one that Fitz won. I had Scheffler to win at 17-1 that week. He took the lead on Sunday and putted himself out of the tournament. You can only hit the ball down the middle of the fairway 320 yards and hit every approach to 10 feet for so long, Byron, before that goes away a little bit. And then, you know, you're instead of hitting 80% of fairways, you hit 70% of fairways. Instead of 10 feet, you're 21 feet. Like it just goes, you can only run at the very top level for so long. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is the next version of Tiger Woods, but I would say that history would tell us that it's tough to get to 5 majors.
Byron, would you at 4? What's your number for him? Do you think he'll get 5 majors?
I think so. I think maybe he snags like another major somewhere and a lot of Masters. I think that golf course, you know, like we mentioning this one being perfect for him, that one is like, I freaking deal, you know, like that's exactly what, and the more he plays that course, the more dangerous he's going to be. He's got 2 green jackets now. It's scary. I'm concerned about Augusta's safety from Scottie Scheffler. But Pat, to get back to like some regression on Scottie, he's averaging right now per round more than what Colin Morikawa's best tournament is. Like he's, like Colin hasn't matched him yet in a tournament to his average. So if he just regresses a little bit, we've got Scottie still playing as good as Colin's irons right now. And that's just going to show how well he's hitting his irons. And what I also wanted to mention is Scottie's doing all of this stuff without like an elite physical trait. Rory, Tiger, nukes off the tee, like bomb squad,
But that's a benefit to him, Byron. You could have questions about Tiger Woods in the weight room and all the things that happen. You break down. You don't want to Pat. It's like when I played hockey. The guy who was good, he's not a fat slob, but he had a little bit of baby fat on him. Those guys that were cut that I played with, they always got hurt. Scottie's body is actually a benefit to him when you look at Rory ripped with 3 tries. Like, I get it, you murder the ball, but you want to have that type of body, not fat, long, lean. I'm concerned about his footwork because one of these times when he gets older, if he can't dance like that, he's going to roll over on his ankle or something crazy is going to happen. I'm not worried about like other things with him, but great point, guys. I'm telling you though, as crazy as this sounds, you want a guy that's not too muscular. It's better that way.
Scottie's the Patrick Mahomes of the PGA because
he's got Byron. Look at Mahomes. He's in shape, but he's got baby fat. You see all those guys, like I'm a Seahawk fan. DK Metcalf, you could grate cheese on his abs, but he's going to get hurt a hell of a lot more because he has too many muscles. It's a great, that's Pat. This is an interesting conversation we're having right now.
Well, okay.
His body type's good.
Listen, I mean, you can say that about Rory too. Has Rory ever been hurt? He like broke his ankle kicking a soccer ball once. I remember that.
True. Yeah, a little drunken soccer.
Like Tiger is, I think, a little bit different because he was pushing everything to its absolute limit, and it paid off to the max for him. So here's what I want to know in the comment section from people out there. Maybe I'm wrong with 4.5. I think 11.5 is a bit high for Scottie Scheffler from Cam. What would
I went nuts?
You people in the comment section, you tremendous people, great people over here, very good people in the comment section. Leave me your over under for Scottie Scheffler majors in his career. And this is the one thing that I'll throw back at you guys, because we're in the moment right now where he's reeled off 5 wins and 7 starts, just won the Masters, whatever. He has 2 major championships right now. If I had asked you to set an over-under for Jon Rahm when he won the Masters last year, what would have been your number?
Pretty high. So good call.
Because Rahm was doing what Scottie is doing right now over a 4-month stretch, culminating with winning the Masters. You probably would have said 7.5, 8.5. What would it be today? 3.5?
I think comment section's going to go for Scheffler majors 7.5. That's going to be, I think, the average mean.
Sure, and I think that whatever you think that the average is going to be in this moment with rose-colored glasses, subtract 2 or 3 from that.
Yeah,
because it's hard to win.
I think you're right, which means we get right back to 4.5. And I think, but what the funny thing is it's like, where are we really going here with Scottie? Because what is the landscape of the PGA looking like? Because Rahm went to live, that just changed the whole dynamic for him. Like his life has gone to shit. He's making you can't say money buys you happiness. Like it's brought him sadness. It's like the guy's got like cracks in his toes and can't win tournaments against like 43 other people. And it's just a disaster for the dude. So yeah, I think Scottie stays in Texas and hangs around on the PGA Tour. If it even is a thing in 2 years.
Pat said it, like he put, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things he probably tried. There was a lot of things he should have done. He pushed his body to the limits. And after a while, Father Time waits for no one. He's broken down everywhere. He's fused. Like, what do you want? Like, it's just the fact that he won that Masters is still shocking, but it's just one of those things, man. Golf, like, oh yeah, golf's easy. Like everyone, that Tim Herron, like sitting there, like eating sausages back in the day. It's like, I get it. You want to be a little bit in shape, but when you're too old and you've done those things, that's why you want like I'm watching guys on the senior tour, like Ernie Els, smoother than silk. Steve Stricker, probably one of the best short games of all time. Hell, Stephen Ames is doing great on that tour. You don't want guys with violent swings, and that's what I worry about Scottie moving forward. That's the whole thing, the footwork. It's kind of an issue to me.
Okay, so Scottie's going to have to get some dentures then, some giant-ass chompers.
Yeah, Paladin. Yes, great teeth. Yeah, exactly. Sharp. Coordinating contest, Pat, who's our guy? Schwartzel versus Howell versus who? Who's else got big ones?
Ames?
Big choppers. Oh, yeah, Ames has got great.
And Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick's got sharp ones, too. Ginsu's in his mouth.
The Ginsu knives?
Actually, I like Fitzpatrick a lot this week.
It's funny because like I'm not betting Jason Day, but I think that Jason Day is going to have a good week just for no reason other than I think he's just going to chip and putt his way around this place just like he did the last time around.
Yes.
Although,
Pat, what's his new deal with his clothing line? Like what, from the parachute club? Like I've never seen a man have like pants that are falling. Like even my girlfriend went, what the hell? Like his shirts are like, he's bringing back like the 80s with those suits and stuff. I'm like, dang, like he used to dress. Like, I'm like, what's his new style? Like, is he like rapping? Like what's his deal? Like what's going on with this new look? It's
he's
kind of weird.
He just got very inspired. He got into a YouTube rabbit hole, as we all do from time to time, and it just dropped on Can't Touch This. He saw MC Hammer, but it wasn't MC Hammer, it was the background dancers. And he said, you know what? I could do that. That could be, I know I might have vertigo, but in my post-golfing career, I could be an MC Hammer backup dancer. So now he's just living the life.
I was watching I forget what tournament it was. I'm like, did this guy go to Target? Like it was weird. Like it's like his luggage got lost. I've never seen Jason Day. He looked like a guy that rolled out of a ditch. And I was really shocked. I'm like, wow, like my girlfriend's like, what's this guy doing? Like he looks like he's like, it didn't look right, Pat. It looked like that old drunk uncle you had just kind of at the bachelor party. Hey, man, how you guys doing? Are you gonna play some cards? Like it was really weird. Like I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but I was just like, wow, because the guy used to dress like, look at me. I wear the same damn golf shirts because hey, I'll buy 9 Under Armours because they fit. But I was just saying for a pro golfer like that, I was like, and they were like wrinkled and stuff. Like it was very odd to me.
I'm also rocking the Under Armour golf shirt today. I love them. They're nice and stretchy. I love to play in them actually, just because.
You got it, Pat. Comfort, buddy. When you're getting older and they have the old 9 shirts, 39 if you buy so many. Every color in the rainbow, but Hainzer lost my blue one at the Neil Young concert because he got too wasted, and it's in a bush somewhere. So he owes me an Under Armour shirt.
Well, one name that we've brought up like 3 or 4 times already, and I don't think I've actually talked about on any of the shows this week. Byron, did you know that Tiger Woods is playing this week?
Didn't know.
Yes, I have him in my pick'ems on the Underdog Fantasy Show, and it's over 74. I think he's just going to shoot 1 million. I think at this golf course.
Phil Mickelson, Byron, minus 140 in a matchup bet over Tiger.
Oh, I see. Here's the thing. I
found it at 140.
Normally, I would agree with you, but I think if there's ever, not that he's going to compete, but if there's ever a U.S. Open course where Tiger can still play well, this is the one. There's no thick rough to wrench his back.
Yeah, I don't know, Pat.
But he's strong. He's so strong though. Like I think his biggest deficiency is he's short. Like he's chipping and he's putting. He's completely atrocious when it gets to that. And
you know what it is, guys?
I think
he'll do well early, but it doesn't matter after that. Pat, you see what happens. It's a consistent thing. Good, and then it just it's basically you start at the top of the mountain and fall because he can't maintain that stuff over 4 rounds of golf. Phil can.
Yeah, but who do you think is more likely to make the cut, Phil or Tiger?
Phil.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Byron agrees with you. Well, Byron, I didn't see that one coming. I thought Pat was going to cut my mic again. Hey, here you go. No, I really do, Pat. Like, I don't care what Tiger Woods does. I know this course might fit all the metrics. Sorry. I'll take Phil Mickelson in this type of major. You don't think, like, I'm looking at this course going, actually, Phil's kind of a guy that if he can get things going, I like him a hell of a lot better than Tiger. Way better.
Look, neither of them know how to putt on this golf course, though.
That's
true.
True.
They've struggled to make shorties on this course. I mean, I've watched so many of those highlight reels, and Phil and Tiger are missing like 6-footers, like on repeat.
I would like Tiger to do well, Pat, but I'm just seeing like a breaking down. It's just what we talk about. Over time, it's really, really hard. And one thing about Phil is he kind of gets up for these tournaments when you don't expect. Like, I'm like, what's the deal with this guy? Like, he's still lingering and stuff. Like, he's a weird dude, but you're right about the putting, Byron. Both of these guys are going to struggle mightily.
Tiger has made 2 or 3 cuts this year that he's played in.
Mm-hmm.
He's
How do you play on the weekend?
No, terrible, but I don't care about that. I just don't know if Phil's going to see the weekend. Let's not pretend like Phil's playing good golf right now.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not saying no. They're both no. I just think it's Byron. Would you lay 40 cents with Phil?
I think so. I like the chances that Phil sneaks into the weekend and beats Tiger's ass if Tiger does. But I think if they both miss the cut, there's a chance. It's probably closer to.
I'd like Tiger to do well. You ever say, "Oh, you're a Tiger"? No, hey, no. I'm a realist. Like I just like the way he's played over the years and what he's been through and stuff. Man, his body's beat. Like it's just Pat. That's how good he is. He comes out of the tournament. You're right though. You bring up a good point. The make the cut stuff is good, but a tournament matchup is deadly because if he gets there on the weekend, that's when the wheels fall off. I can see him just grinding, maybe like right on the cut line, but after that, it's going to be a disaster. So I can see that.
Well, maybe the bet is then instead of betting Tiger and Phil, you bet Tiger to make the cut, Phil to miss the cut, and parlay them together, because that's essentially saying Tiger beats Phil in a head-to-head, and you get more money on it.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. But
So-
I don't think he will.
Silver picks for the U.S. Open. I'll lead it off. The guy I've been riding at majors, and he's cashed this both times. He's, in fact, cashed top 20s at both majors so far this season. But I'm going to the top 30 market plus 333. So better than 3-1 on your money.
Oh, wow.
I am going to take Taylor Moore to finish inside the top 30. I think this is a great course for Taylor Moore, and I think that his one deficiency is actually weirdly mitigated he has a few deficiencies, but his primary deficiency is his iron game. It's not very good, and we're thinking about guys who can win this tournament. They're going to have to come with their irons in order to continue to hit greens in regulation, but where the green and regulation rate is so low to begin with, it might actually mean that his lack of iron success and where he is good in everything else, both off the tee, around the greens, and on the greens, might actually raise him up because everything else is kind of neutralized a little bit, unless you're really lapping the field on approach shots, which you will need to win. This is not a bet to win. It is a top 30 bet. So over 3-1 Taylor Moore.
Yeah.
Guy will,
Team oops. Yeah. I love
that bet, Pat.
That's actually a really good bet. Like Taylor Moore, top 30 should be, what are you guys thinking? Like $180? Like that's, to me, that's not like top 30. That's a lot of guys. It's a good bet, Pat.
Yeah, he's been playing well in majors.
Yeah, and it's just the more difficult the course, the better he's been playing. And just the chipping, and maybe it's just lingering in my head because I had money on him and he did not win that week. He came in second, tied with Scottie Scheffler, was how he played at Memorial Park. And the irons were bad that week. Just every time he missed a green in regulation, he put it to a foot and made the putt. Like it wasn't a problem for him. Like he can get it up and down. He's one of the better around the green players on tour. And maybe that is mitigated this week because you can chip, you can putt, you can play a punch and run, you can use a hybrid from off the green, whatever you want to do. But I know that, Victor might be experimenting with 8 different clubs from off the green, but Taylor Moore's just going to do what he does and be able to get the ball up and down and grind. Like he'll probably finish at like +8. That might be good for a top 30.
Love that. And you know what, Pat, you bring up a good point. Like guys that have struggled with the irons that are used to having to scramble their butts off, like maybe this is the place, like these are the guys that are used to this. They're not going to have to change their mindset because they're having to scramble more than they used to. Maybe they will because their irons are still bad, but they'll be scrambling as much as everybody else kind of thing. So I think that's not the worst way to kind of look at it this week either. I think this is a weird week and you have to get weird. I think it's a cool course. So make up your own narratives and kind of ride that way.
And he's a Magic Beans type player as well. So I'm trying to think about like a DraftKings lineup here, Byron, with Scottie in it. So you have Scottie. Let's throw in Taylor Moore, Mac Hughes, Denny McCarthy. Who else can we throw on that list?
Harry Higgs.
Harry Higgs, the Brit, according to Cust.
I love Harry Higgs.
Yes.
I mean, he just chips in for Eagle every single time to win tournaments.
He really does. Harry Higgs, he's my guy. I love that guy.
You should really be
He's
his
amazing.
you should be his caddy, Cam.
We have honestly, me and Higgs would get along great. I think it'd actually get dangerous at night with me and Higgs at the bar, but I'm a big fan of his work. I like that. You said it. Nobody chips it more than Harry Higgs.
There's also not enough vodka on this earth for the two of you to be friends.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible idea.
We love vodka. Anyway.
So the other two guys that kind of fit that mold, Byron, that I was looking at from the back of the pack are Harris English and Steven Yager, whose approach games have left them, but very good grinders in a weird way and pretty good off the tee as well.
Yep. I love those guys. You know who's also on, Pat? Justin Rose.
Well,
This guy leads the PGA or the whole world in strokes gained putting in majors. Justin Rose. And what do you need to do here? Make 15 footers on repeat. And Justin Rose, he even did the Payne Stewart celebration on the 72nd hole when he made that same similar putt. So he loves this golf course. And I think Rosie's a little sneaky underdog this week.
Additionally, Rose, Cam, if you remember, when he won at Marion in 2013, using that hybrid from chipping off the green.
Yeah, no, Rose is one of those guys, like the minute you think he's done, he's not. You guys are right. He shows up in these type of events. The course could be good for him. Man, there's so many guys right now. But yeah, like this course, it's just weird. Like, I don't know, like you can make cases for a lot of guys. Like certain majors, you just put lines through guys. But this one, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like there's something crazy could happen here.
What's your silver pick, Byron?
silver pick is going to be Hideki Matsuyama for a T30. If you take a look at his history at US Opens, and by the way, I've said this a few times already, but I'm going to say it on this show one more time. Sam Burns, when I was looking to bet him at the Valspar, I wanted to see what kind of strokes gained he did against other areas and at other venues or other events in other categories of strokes gained. And I took a peek at strokes gained approach, and there's one person that beats Sam Burns putting at the Valspar on approach at the US Open. It's Hideki Matsuyama. He's gaining 1.8 strokes on approach. Scottie Scheffler right now is like averaging 1.7 this year at a Tiger Elite rate. And this is what Hideki Matsuyama is doing at the US Open. He's finished 32nd or better in all of them since 2018. I mean, if you think about a wizard around the greens, Hideki is just ludicrous when it comes to this wedge. I mean, he's going to chip in so many times this week. And I think he's going to miss so many putts as well. But I think this golf course really suits him. And if this US Open trend with his irons continues, god damn, he's going to be firing at flags.
What is the number you
and
got?
It's plus 100.
Plus 100.
Sorry.
Even money.
Yeah. I got it at plus 115. It's plus 100 now. So I'll still go there.
I like that.
Cam, silver pick.
Well, Pat, you know, we talked about a guy we all like, and you told me the big game hunter, aka Cust, likes this man too. My namesake, Cam Smith. Everyone's forgot about this guy. I like him as top Aussie at plus 220. I know you said you like MC Hammer being Jason Day, but I could do that, and we can split up the units with he's also plus 160 for a top 20. I like Cam Smith this week. I think he's going to contend in this tournament, so I'll definitely take him plus 220 top Aussie, and I'll saw it in half with the top 20 at plus 160. How do you like that?
I like it because I actually like Cam Smith better than Jason Day. I bet Cam Smith to win this tournament. He is my bronze pick. Cam Smith, top 20, plus 175.
Oh, you got better number than me. I got 160.
And just looking.
This is just a full-on circle jerk of bets today, boys. We are all over each other's bets today. It's not good.
No, we're dead. We are so doomed. We're absolutely fucking.
Or we're going to be loving life come
exactly.
Sunday. All three of us.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we had a major championship where we were all on the same page and actually got things right instead of, you know.
I'm betting Smith outright too, Pat. What did you get him at? 45.50? Can't get any.
Yeah, there's 45s now.
Yeah,
it's getting worse, Pat. I'd wait.
Well, I've already bet it because I bet it with the placements. But I mean, the best number that I saw was 50, but that was without the 8 places. So I took the 40 with the 8 places on Cam Smith.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant to say that to Cam, but two of you have 3 letters in your names.
See, did he fall anymore? No, he's still 40 to 1 right now. So he's
40 to 1.
He's not moving in the market. The only guy that really is going down at all is Hideki. I got Hideki at 55. He's down to 45.
Yeah. That's where I'm at too, 45. Don't you feel like such an idiot when you bet a future and then you like the week of comes and it's like, oh, there's 20 points extra that I can actually grab
look at
right
me.
now?
Byron, you want to talk about a stooge play? I got Will Zalatoris in this tournament like 45, thinking I was a genius and get him at 80 now. I'm like, yeah, way to go, Cam. Hey, good work.
Yeah.
Hey.
I was like that at the Masters as well. Don't worry.
I'm with you. I have a Wyndham Clark future at 50 to 1. I was thinking, defending champ. He just won at Pebble. Might as well get on this now. He's 66 to 1, or even as high as 75 to 1.
Yep. Hey, it's like playing stocks. You know, we're playing the stock market right now. Some of our stocks sucked. We made some good investments and we made some bad ones, just like life.
So the only other one that I was looking at that didn't make it, I did have Bezadenhout for a top 30 finish at 2 to 1. Was something else that I was looking at. I want to bet Cam Davis as well, just because he randomly appears in these really difficult tournaments, but I just couldn't pull the trigger with any of the bets, Byron.
Yeah, Cam is interesting because he's got this really interesting connection with the sand belt and the Aussie stuff and almost trying to like ruin Adam Scott's career by stopping him from extending the major streak. So I'm glad Scott made it in, I think, according to Jeff, which is also a very reliable source. But Bezzy, I think speaking about stocks, this is blue chip stuff right now. He's working on his speed training. Once Bezadenhout starts hitting drives 300 plus, the way he hits his irons and chips and putts, we're in shit. Like we're going to have a really, really good South African on our hands. And I'm looking forward to him succeeding.
I actually bet him in the tournament he won. He won at Valderrama. And he did not just win; he kicked people's ass, Pat. And I had him at 80 to 1 that week. And how many times has he won, Byron? I think that was like one of I was just sitting there, like he like that is like he ran away. I'm like, this guy is the real deal. And then I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, better for top 20s and 30s with Bazzout, right? But this guy, man, you're right. If he gets some distance, he'll be an absolute killer.
Well,
Yeah, we times him by like 18 in US dollars, you know, so like they're just trying to make money and not really win tournaments almost, but yeah.
Well, I mentioned this. I was on Fairway Rolling last week with House and Mark Hubbard's brother, Nate, and I kind of made mention, like, what's going on with Hubbard, like your brother's irons? Like, this was kind of his thing. He was awesome at them. And he said that he had gained like 15 yards off the tee. And since he started doing the speed training, that like he's got the distance with his irons, but he doesn't like know how he hits his irons anymore. They're going farther. He's a bit off because he's changed his swing a little bit. Like the chipping and putting and driving is there now, but the one stock thing that he used to do so well, like he's trying to refigure that out in a weird way.
Yeah, one step backwards, two steps forwards kind of thing. And I think that's kind of what you got to do when you do the speed training stuff. I'm also in that right now, and I'm taking a quick break after tweaking my back. So it's a tough grind, folks, to get to the speed training side of things there. But at the end of the day, it's a long one, and it's a long-term process that's going to pay off dividends. So Bezzy at $6,200. Oh, baby, I'm all about that.
Give me a silver pick, Byron.
I gave you my silver for Hideki at 11 at plus 100.
Yeah.
I want to clarify
bronze?
for the bronze. Yes. What is the highest bet that's been cashed so far on the show? Do you recall?
I still believe
wanna say-
it is Cam Scottie Scheffler at Bay Hill.
Okay. So Sahith Theegala, top 5, 9-1, plus 900. Let's go. He's my guy. I mean, we've got second places. If you're thinking about the guy missed 2 3-footers last week at the Memorial to finish 12th. I mean, he would have finished 6th if he just makes a routine putt. So I think at this kind of a course, we can see him get that putter rocking and rolling. The short game started to work around the greens there at the Memorial too. Very good drive of the golf ball. And I know he misses big, but he misses big in the right spots. You know, like he's always like way right of where the hazard is, you know. So I think that's always okay. And he's a superstar. He's got that T9. I need a top 10 from you in a major in order to kind of really give you a good crack this week. And he's got that T9 at Augusta and obviously the T12 at the PGA last week. So, or last major. And loving Sahith. He's my boy. I hope he wins this thing.
9-1. This is going to be the first major where I haven't bet Sahith in like
bold.
a year and a half, Cam.
That means he's get on it. That's the thing, Pat. That's exact. Dude, I used to bet Lynn Grant. I remember because the women played, they had that mixed tournament in Sweden. Okay. I got things going on or whatever. She came back from 11 down. You know what the odds were? Like, I see the final leaderboard. I'm ready to, it was like Torbjorn Olesen, you know, like snakes on a plane when he's getting way. He was 250-1 the week we were working at Fantasy, Pat. I'm like, I couldn't get it out of my skull for like a year. Now that Byron's, that's the problem with golf. Now he's mentioned the guy's name. I'm like, damn it. It's like, I got to bet this guy now because that's the thing. If it comes in and we don't do anything with it, at least for a top 10 and 20, like you got to have a piece of him. I like to Gallant. He's rock solid.
Well, I need a bronze pick from you to round this out.
Okay, Pat. Well, this is kind of like a loser leaves town match in wrestling. I've taken this guy before, and if he doesn't do it for me again, part of Dentures, sponsored by Super Polydent and Polygrip. We got Fitzpatrick, top 20 plus 165. He snuck into the top. Didn't he finish top 5 last week? He seems like the type of guy to have the patience game to do well this week. And if he doesn't, Pat, if he finishes 21st or what was the time? Oh yeah, Byron. Pat's like, we had that thing like 24th or better or something like that. And he's like, just do the top 20. What he finished, Pat? Like 21st? Remember that tournament where you bet him? I was ready to like blow a back gasket, but I'll take Fitzpatrick at plus 165 for a top 20. The patience game will play. He hits it straight. I think he's going to have a really good week, and I could see him actually contending in this tournament. So that's a really good number for comfort zone. It's kind of like what you guys talked about Fleetwood. I worry about sometimes slip it up in one round, but I think top 20 is good enough. Plus 165, Matthew Fitzpatrick, chopper.
Byron, you know who rated out really well for me at difficult courses, and I can't wrap my mind him being good here, is Sahith, or not Sahith, Akshay.
Akshay Bhatia.
Ooh, interesting. Why, if he could get lost in a gorge bush somewhere, if he kind of steps in there, or what's your issue with that?
Yeah, he is very thin. He might get blown away. I like that kid.
When it gets going bad for him, it goes so badly.
Oh,
but
true.
and you'll know like almost immediately. But even like in a round, it can flip for him on a dime to go from scorching hot to freezing cold, like from 1-9 to another. I just worried that at a U.S. Open, that might not be the best time to do that.
Well, then you bet him in a way that you don't have to risk that much. Bet like a high upside bet, like a top 10 or something like that, Pat. That way you're not really like chipping out too much of your pocket. But why were you thinking of playing him DFS or betting him or what you're trying to do with him?
I don't know. I'll probably most definitely play him in DFS this week. I'll talk that through with Tambo tomorrow. But I was just trying to think, yeah, maybe top 10, top 20. Like, I want to get paid if he plays well because he's way back in the odds.
Hey, Pat, when you called me before I went to New York and we did the show where I was like tuned in my hotel, but we had Bethea that week. It's not like he played bad on the back nine. Didn't Denny McCarthy go bananas and like tie him up and then we ended up still winning? Like, it's not like he was bad that day. He just ran into a guy with a putter that was on fire in the back nine. Was it him? It was McCarthy, right?
He beat Denny.
Yeah. No, me and Pat had Bethea. Like, but this idiot that I'm friends with texted, hey man, this one's in the bag. And I go, block number. And the minute he said that, here it comes. I told my girlfriend, I hate when people do that shit. Like, even though it's a joke, like we talk about cuss, like I would never do that to you, Pat. Like if you had like a 21-point lead in a football game, talk to me when it's a final. Maybe I'm superstitious because I've been gambling for so long. I hate when people do that shit. It's never over, buddy. Hey, how many times do we have Tagala with a 3-shot? Boom. Mito Pereira, party's over. Like the tournament's never over, man. Never tell me things are good till they're good. That's all I'm going to say.
Outright bets for the week. I'll have the in-depth breakdown tomorrow's show and in the Mayo Media newsletter, which is completely free to subscribe to, and you'll get extra information and giveaway information. More giveaways, too, because not only is Tambo giving away the 5%, I'm giving away $500 cash to one of you, some free Fantasy National memberships for the year, and you can do all of that by using code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy. Get yourself in there, rating and reviewing, and subbing to the newsletter for that one as well, which is completely free to do. It takes 2 seconds. Cam, you get the newsletter. You like the newsletter.
I do like the newsletter. I like to read it. You guys get like early odds on the golfers and stuff. You break it down better. You know what, Byron? I write things down on pen and paper. Like as Pat knows, that's kind of I'm an old school guy. Make notes, okay? Florida Panther. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those guys. But Pat and you guys have these computer programs that you put together. Rob Bazzola the same way. I respect you. I could barely log on, so I'm going to do it old school. So Pat's newsletter is where you want to get all the information you need, Pat. And I'll tell you, you know what I like about it? You hunt guys early and you get good number. I will say this, say you bet 5 golfers, I'm going to say 4 out of your guys you have better odds other than me screwing up with Zalatoris and you with Wyndham Clark. Let's put it that way.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So for me, I bet Brooks at 25. Well, I bet him at 30, but he's at 25 right now. Just because Scottie running away with Memorial led to a little bit of fun, especially with Brooks playing so poorly in Houston until he didn't. 7 under round coming into the U.S. Open this week. Just Brooks with a 2 in front of his name at a U.S. Open, I'm in. If anyone can run down Scottie, I feel like it's Brooks. I used my 50% boost at Bet365 this week to bet on Colin Morikawa. I got him up to 26-1 from 17 on that boost. So I'm in on Colin. I bet Cam Smith at 40 with the 8 places and Hideki at 55 with the 8 places. Byron, those are the 4 outrights that I have this week.
Yeah, those are 4 of my 6. So I'm going to tease the people, and back 9 bets will be on Mayo Media Network tonight at 7 Eastern. I'll see you guys there. I'll be rattling off all my placements as well. Those are my 4 outrights. I've got 2 more little sneaky guys, and looking forward to a fun little show on the platform there. That's Mayo Media now.
Yeah, did you get all the tech issues resolved?
Oh, yeah. We just straight hardwiring into the YouTube, and off we go. So it's going to be a nice, easy transition tonight.
Perfect. Hardwire. Yeah, sounds good. What do you guys think about top 5 with the Scheffler minus 130? I know laying juice is not part of the program, but that's a wicked number. And sorry, Pat, it's just like betting a baseball game. You want to give me $130 or a hockey game, whatever. Scottie Scheffler top 5 at that price. I don't even care if I lose the 30. Like, it's one of those situations. It's almost a must do at that price.
What other outrights do you have? It sounds like Cam Smith is in the bag for you.
He is. Cam Smith's in the bag. Choppers, Fitzpatrick's in the bag. I bet Dean Burmester at 125. And who else do I have? I was looking at Sepp Straka, but maybe I'm nuts.
I just don't think
And you're going to have to bet Sahith.
And now I have to bet Tagala. Thank you. Hey, Morikawa. Thank you. I do have Morikawa. I got him earlier too.
I just worry about, because I looked at Sepp too. Like, no one comes in really outside of Scheffler and Morikawa with better form than Sepp right now. It's just, if he's there on Sunday, Cam, I just don't think he's got it in him to run down these guys at a U.S. Open.
I understand, but he's been so good in the top 20 market, Pat, like top 10 and top 20. He's been so good to me. Like, he's just one of those guys, like, he's a friend. He might not win, but nothing surprises me about Sepp Straka anymore. You're right. Outright is tough, but I think you can have a good tournament, make us some money.
Sure. No, absolutely. Just, I think I'm staying away from the outright. If it was like 150, I would probably take it. Like 80, it's not quite cutting it for Sepp. But I'll probably end up betting Siwoo because I'm a sucker at like 90-1 or something like that if I can get some placements on him. But I'll have all the finalized stuff on Wednesday's show with Tambo and in the newsletter. I'm doing a live chat on Wednesday night as well, so people can tune into that. I did rig up a to miss the cut parlay for 100-1, Cam, if you'd like to hear it.
I would.
So this is the hardest cut in golf to make. Top 60 in ties make the cut in a 156-player field. I tried to pick on, it's funny because I have Sahith on this list. Hovland, Rahm, Sahith, Connors, all to miss the cut, pays 101-1.
I was actually thinking about taking Puig over as top Spaniard, meaning beating Rahm and beating Sergio and some other guys. So, like, I got no problem with that. Actually, you know what? It's actually more possible than people think, that bet. It could happen.
You just see a lot of guys eject at U.S. Opens, Byron.
Yeah. So what? We've got cracked toes. We've got cracked chipping. We've got cracked driver. And who's the fourth guy?
Connors, who just sucks at U.S. Opens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at Victor. He shit all over himself, Pat, when I needed him. Like, I think I had 20 was parlayed with some, but I had a huge top 10 on him. He finished like T12. Like, how did that even happen? Like, he looked like he was getting his game back, and I'm like, here we go. Like, that was hard to watch.
It wasn't good.
Hard to watch.
Wasn't good at all. All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Byron, you said 7 p.m. Eastern time on Mayo Media Network. You'll be live on Tuesday night?
Live, baby. I'll be doing giveaways at like random times in the show. I'll be sending you guys my model and stuff. I've got like cheat sheets and all sorts of fun stuff.
What will you be doing, Pat, Tuesday? Byron's on the show at 7 o'clock. Out with the kids?
I'm bringing my kids to swimming class.
There it is.
Here we go.
Nice. Very important to teach your kids how to swim.
Yeah, you know, it's just like, I don't know, like they don't seem to have any sort of gumption for hockey, but I do have to teach them how to skate because you don't want to be the kid who doesn't know how to skate in Canada.
Yeah, no, they don't have to be good at it, but just tell them, like, yeah, they just need to be able to get around. But as for swimming, man, like I've been in situations with like lakes and undertows and stuff like that. Yes, like I don't have any children, but I think it's very important that kids need swimming is an essential skill in survival. I've almost died a couple times in the water, so teach your kids to swim.
Are you like,
especially with skates on?
Yeah, with skates on. Yes.
Are you like Harry Shearer and when he was training for the Olympics? You need the water wings and the synchronized swimming.
Love the water wings, buddy. No, I had a buddy who didn't like. I told him, I go like, dude, you got to learn how to swim. Like we're going like it's just it's vital. You need it. Pat, remember back in the day we used to have badges. Like super, like whatever, like to work to get your lifeguard thing, and like a whole thing, like participation, like you do gold, silver, bronze, excellence and stuff. They used to have that with swimming. Now today they're probably like, hey kid, if you can like do this, you pass. You feel like because they don't want to. Well, it's a different society today, but I think swimming skills are essential in a child's life.
Yeah, they don't hold, they don't like give you the gimme of graduating in swimming. Like there's certain milestones that you have to hit. Like my 5-year-old just graduated to the next class. And the thing that he had to do was be able to swim from one end of the pool to the other to get up to like the next level of how you have to train it. But until he could do that, he wasn't able to go to the next class because they're like, well, we can't put you in the next class because you can't even do this. Like you have to be able to pass it.
I'm with the teachers there. That's the way it should be. Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, they had our local like swimming club was the Beavers, and that's how you ended up getting your badges. But I wasn't a part of that. I didn't get my Beaver badge until like my late teens, early 20s. But I got all of them, so that was good.
Love beavers. Yeah, they swim, eat trees. They do so many things, but but nasty dispositions. Don't try to go up and pat a beaver. It's like meeting a snapping turtle. Bite your hand off. They're not friendly.
Perfect. What do you got going on this week, Cam?
The same old usual stuff at Sports Grid. Me and Morency banging it out at midnight Wednesday night for the NBA Finals. We'll have some live bets. We've been betting a lot of WNBA and doing well in that league. We'll have golf picks this week too, Pat, but basically just trying to get live bets. For the NBA too, can we find a number? The Mavericks are now like 6-1. We're trying to find ways, angles to try to get plus money on some sides and put some things together. But you know how it is, Pat. If it moves, we bet on it. We bet baseball, we bet WNBA, we bet golf, we bet everything. So if you like betting and like you don't have a family, we're the guys you need at night. That's for sure.
At Cam Stewart Live on X. You can follow Byron at The Model Maniac on X, and you can tune into him live 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Mayo Media Network. And you can even ask your questions as you go through. You can follow me at The PME, sub to the newsletter, use code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy, even fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself 20% off all the stats and all the tools and all the sims and all the ownership projections and lineup builders, plus the best app in the game for leaderboards. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
That Mayo experience.